Hey everybody, it's Tyler with Tyler Talks Travel Trailers, and today, I got a unit for you. This is one of Novo's newest floor plans that they're coming out with this year, and I'm really happy that they finally made one without a slide out. So they've made this layout in the past, but it had a massive slide on it, and I think this is just going to cater to a lot more people in different ways. For one, it's going to be a lot lighter, so if you don't have a big tow vehicle, having no slide is going to really help with that weight. Second thing that I think is cool is that if you're looking for a bulletproof trailer, obviously a slide, I'm not saying no slide is perfect. No one can guarantee that they're perfect. So there is things that could happen. So if you're someone that is worried about that, not having the slide, like I said, is going to be one less thing you have to worry about. And not only that, this thing has the Beast Mode package, and what they put on this trailer is literally going to take you anywhere. It is a Kurt independent suspension. There's literally like no axle underneath the trailer. It's crazy. So if you're looking to get super deep into the woods, you don't want to camp on top of other people, you want to get away from people, this trailer is going to do that for you, and it's going to take the whole family as well. This thing should sleep about 7 people. So if you have kids and they want to bring friends along, you will be able to sleep everyone comfortably, as well as sit everyone comfortably if the weather gets bad. So like always, we're going to do the specs first. It takes me 1 minute to do those specs, and then we'll dive inside. Let's go, guys. So the basic specs on this 2026 No Boundaries 19.3. Your unloaded vehicle weight is 4,824 pounds. Your cargo carrying capacity is 1,500 pounds, which brings your potential fully loaded weight to 6,324 pounds. Your hitch weight is 645 pounds. Your exterior length is 24 feet 8 inches. Your exterior height is 10 feet 11 inches. Your exterior width is 7 feet 4 inches. Your tanks, your freshwater tank is 30 gallons, your gray water tank is 30 gallons, and your black tank is 30 gallons. Your awning size is 16 feet. Let's jump inside. All right, everybody, now that we got those specs done, we will start inside and work our way out. This thing has a bunch of features. We're gonna go through features, options, construction, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. I do a lot of measurements. So I try to make my videos so in depth that you do not need to go and watch another 5 videos to get the information that you're looking for. So hopefully you'll get everything answered in this one video. Like I said, this does not have a slide out, and it's pretty spacious considering it does not have the slide. And one of the reasons why it's so spacious is because obviously it has a Murphy bed, and I'm a huge fan of Murphy beds. If I was looking at a trailer 25 feet and under, I think a Murphy bed would be the first thing that I put on my list. I think I would go with the Murphy bed just because if the weather is bad, you wouldn't be able to get a couch and dinette in this size of unit usually. But if the weather gets bad, you want to have extra seating spaces so you could put the bed up and then you don't have people, sitting on your bed. Let's put this Murphy bed down so that way you could see how simple it is. Let's put you right there. So this couch, just so you know, it is 56 inches from this side to this side. So 56 inches on that couch. All you do is lift this up. You got storage underneath that I'll show you later. And then you undo this and bam! Look at that. How simple is that? Why would you not want a Murphy bed? It's the way to go if you're looking for a trailer under or at 25 feet. And then you don't have people sitting on your bed when they come inside. You actually have a place for them to sit. Sorry about that, guys. My gimbal went a little funky. But there's a lot of great storage on both sides. They're both the same, so I will just open one side. But as you can see, you got hanging wardrobes on both sides with the nice fancy lights up there that you could turn off individually. Pretty decent size wardrobe. It is going to be 12 by 19 and 32 inches tall. So both are going to be 12 by 19 and 32 inches tall for that hanging wardrobe right there. You do have like a little countertop up here as well. It's pretty high, but I mean, you could put something up there. Down here to the left, if we kind of crawl over, try not to get my shoes on the bed, you do have some extra shelves and storage right here. really easy, a convenient plug right here. And then you got a USB and USB-C plug right here as well. I'm not sure how big CPAP machines are, but this is gonna work out super well, because even if it doesn't fit there, you could put it right here on this countertop. This one area is gonna be 10 by 17 and 11 inches tall. This one below is about 16 inches tall, and then it gets a little shorter as it goes up. But some nice added storage. If you're like me, you need to bring water along when you go to sleep. Have a big glass of water in the middle of the night. But I really like the way they're doing this. They got the front window, so once you pull this shade up, you'll have a nice windshield to let in some natural light. And I love that they do the clips. Flagstaff, they use magnets, and it's kind of a pain. It's not as easy as those clips that Nobo does. I'm gonna try to shimmy off. Ugh. One thing I do want to point out though with this queen bed is it's a true queen. It's 60 by 80. And if you're new to the RV world, they usually put RV queens, which is going to be 60 by 74. So the benefit of it being a true queen is, let's face it, RV mattresses are not the most comfortable. I'm not going to lie to you and say they are, but since it's 60 by 80, you can actually go and get yourself a nice topper that will fit without it hanging off. So that's a huge plus right there. Let me put you back down. So like I said, let's say it's raining out. You obviously have guests with you because you have bunk beds. Well, how are they going to sit when you just have the dinette? With this, look at this. Bam! Throw this up. Have everyone come on in. And then you got extra seating. Pretty comfortable. And I think I said 56 inches for this. I like the color schemes that they do in these Nobos. There is more storage that I didn't show you. One thing I do want to point out is you do have more plugs on both sides. So equal plugs. You got some end tables right here. So when you're kicking back at the couch, these are going to be 12 by 23. I love that there's plugs there, because if you're hanging out and you want to charge your phone or plug in the laptop, you can. You got some added storage right here on both sides. It's going to be 11 by 21 and 12 inches tall for these little storage areas on both sides. I got to remember to get these because customers go through them and they're like, what the heck is this? But I have a huge handful of them in my pocket by the time I'm done. You do have more storage. Well, obviously both sides, and then you have the drawers down below. And like I said, you could access it from right here as well. Your inverter is right there behind that little panel. I'll go into the solar and inverter here in a bit. But these drawers, they are not super deep. They're kind of shallow, as you can see. They are 15 by 21, and this is going to be 3 inches tall. But as you can see, it's a little higher right here. So you could probably put about 6 inches of stuff in that, because this is just a little more smaller than what you can actually put. So 2 drawers right there. Moving on to the kitchen. My favorite place of a house and a trailer, because I'm fat. So you got to expect that you have to make compromises in travel trailers with bunk beds, because obviously the bunks are going to take up space that normally would maybe give you more kitchen space, more counter space. But I love the color schemes that Nobo does. Like I said, they do that green tone, and then even on the outside it matches. They gave you some drawers. Woo! You'd be surprised. Some companies do not give you drawers. They're 9 by 20 and 4 inches deep. So you got 4 of those drawers right there. And then over here underneath the sink, you do have storage right here. Easy access to your plumbing. Kind of show that to you guys. This area is going to be 22 by 32 and 13 inches tall to the actual sink. This does not feel bad. Like the slide, I'll let you, I measured out how much room you got. We'll get into that in a second, but it does not feel bad. You do have some added counter space right here. So I'm glad that they at least gave you that. So when you're cooking right here, you have a place to put maybe the food you have prepped and ready to cook. That's gonna be 15 by 16 for that added extension. Coming over here, you do have your Furion, or Greystone, I'm sorry, cooktop. So this all serves as prep space. So this could literally be all counter space whenever you're not using the stove. But when you're ready to cook, throw this back, and you got your backsplash for grease, and you got your 2 top burner, your fancy lights, and it does have the igniter so you don't have to light it with a match or a lighter. Then when you're done, just throw this back, and then you got your prep space right there. Over here to the left, you got a farm style sink. I know it's not a real farm style sink, but that's just what the industry calls it. Don't shoot the messenger. I love this. You got yourself a cutting board. I don't think I would use it. It just looks so good. The nice engraving. And when you're not using this, it hangs right there. Everything has a place. And then your sink, nice metal sink. This is gonna be 13 by 21 and 6 inches deep. I think they went away with that sweet sink that I always used to show you guys with all the, you know, the bins and the waterfall spout. That was so cool. I'm kind of wondering why they went away with that. But this sink head is, faucet is still pretty cool. So you could go from up here, or you could turn it and have like a big waterfall faucet right there. Pull it off, spray stuff off. I like the gold. Looks good. Metal. Over here you do got your cup cleaner. So this is pretty fancy. Throw your cup on there and then it'll like shoot the water up and clean your cups for you. So pretty standard kitchen. It's actually not bad considering the size of the unit and you having double bunks in it. You do have one plug right here in the kitchen, and it looks like that is your only plug in the kitchen area. Over here to the right, I did not show you, you do have a 32-inch 12-volt smart TV. So it has all the apps ready to go. And when I say 12 volt, it means that you can use it without being plugged into a generator or shore power. That is awesome. And it does swivel. It's kind of hard for me to do it with one hand, but you know, you could turn it towards the dinette or the bed if you're, you know, if you're at the bed laying down. So you kind of swivel that around. Obviously not in the best location, but you shouldn't be watching TV when you're out camping. Come on. So when I was talking about the space right here, just to give you an idea, when you put the bed all the way down, you actually have 21 inches of walkway to get through. So you could leave the bed down and still get through nice and easy. So 21 inches when the bed is actually down to walk through the doorway. Let's say you're cooking over here at the stove and someone needs to go to the bathroom. You got 30 inches from here to the stove top right here. So that's how much room you got without a slide. So it's really not that bad. Like I said, it has quite a bit of space considering the width, and it being, what did I say, 7 feet 4 inches, that's going to make it a lot easier when you're towing it. So your mirrors on your truck or tow vehicle, you'll be able to see around the trailer a lot better than if it was the 8-foot wide box. There's pros and cons to everything. You got a little area right here for shoes and stuff. And then down here, obviously right here you have your dinette. You got storage on both sides. You can't access them from the top. You have to go from right here. This is going to be a little smaller, I think, because that's where the wheel well is or something. No, not the wheel well. There must be some components back there. That one's a little bigger, and I'll show you. Look at that sturdy table. Sturdy table, man. Look at that. These are really nice because whenever you're ready to make the bed, all you do is push this lever in. I can't do it with one hand, but then this collapses down. So you push that in, and then this will just come down, and then you'll put it on these little tabs right here, and then you'll throw the cushions on top of this table. But this thing is going nowhere. You know how sometimes they make those flimsy tables with the thin pole? You do not have that issue on this one. You could even slide it away from the table if you want. See? So you could pull it away from the table. Not totally sure why you need to do that on this particular dinette, but you can. And like I said, you could push it down. Pretty decent size dinette. It would be kind of hard to sit 4 adults. Maybe you could sleep sit 2 adults and 2 children. This table, the table itself is 27 by 30. So that is the size of your dinette. As you can see, pretty good size. So 27 by 30. And then when you're ready to put this bed down, the length and width that you got for this bed, and I measured from this to the wall, you got 30 by 72. So a 6-foot guy could sleep there, no problem. I'm 5'7", and I could comfortably sleep there. Most likely this would probably be for, you know, if the kids have guests coming with them, an extra friend, that's gonna accommodate them just fine. Up above, you got more storage for all of your entertainment needs. I have the AC going, and man, does it feel good. So one thing I like about all this cabinetry is it's got hidden hinges, so it's not exposed. You got raised beveled edge, just a nice little added touch, the gold accented handles, and the magnets. So instead of those rolly pins that start to stretch out over time, you don't have to worry about, you know, driving down the road, getting to your spot and having your pots and pans on the floor, or your games, board games and stuff. This whole area is 10 by 69 all the way across and 15 inches tall. So that is some pretty good storage right there. 10 by 69 and 15 inches tall for that storage above the dinette. Nice big window right there, so that way you can look out and see the view. It does open, obviously, sideways, let in a nice cross breeze. This thing has a lot of great lights everywhere. They definitely did not give you a shortage of lights. If you do need a plug, there is a plug up here. So if you're at the dinette, you have that plug. But pretty nice, pretty nice. Moving on to your 10 cubic foot, 12 volt refrigerator. I'm a huge fan of 12 volt refrigerators because they cool extremely fast. I'm talking like within 15 minutes, this thing is already getting nice and cold versus like gas electric. You have to have it going the night before you go out. So a lot more efficient and a lot more space because it does not have those metal coils that are usually in the back. And then you got your separate freezer. Pretty standard. Oh yeah, this thing's frosty already, and I just plugged this in. Down below is a really nice added feature. So it's loud. It always freaks me out. So this is a nice touch. You know, you have kids coming in and out. You get home and you need to sweep everything up. It's just that little extra dirt that you just can't seem to get. Sweep it to right here, throw that up, bam! And it'll suck the air in. It also comes with a nice long hose with the attachments that just hook in right here, and then just flip it on, and then you're getting your trailer nice and clean. So that is the road vac. That is not 12 volt though. You do need to be plugged in to shore power to use that. There's your gas furnace. This AC is going to be a 13.5 BTU air conditioner. So it's getting this thing nice and cold. I just plugged it in, but it's cooling off pretty fast. As you can see, I'm finally not dying and sweating like I usually am. So we have it all plugged in so you can see everything going. If you're talking about interior height, if you're someone tall, the interior height that you have from the floor to the ceiling is going to be 6 feet 6 inches or 78 inches. So if you're 6'7", you are too tall. 6 feet 6 inches of interior height. Moving on, I did not show you the storage up here above the sink for all your bowls, plates, things like that. This is going to be 12 by 31 and 14 inches tall of cabinet space above the sink. I also forgot to show you, it does have the light fan combo. So it will actually have an exhaust to pull that air out. It doesn't just circulate it. And then, get this. Oh, it's a microwave. No, it's not just a microwave. Check this out. An air fryer. How cool is that? I always say this in all my videos. I used to be too macho to use these, and then my girlfriend's mom bought us one, and we use it probably twice a week. They are super, super good, and they cook food surprisingly good. You will use this, I promise. It's got the air fryer, it's got the microwave and convection. So you got the convection, the air fryer, and your standard microwave. So obviously it does not have that oven. So that's really cool that they're starting to do an air fryer as well, because I love air fryers. I'm a fan of them now. Moving on to the side of this refrigerator. You got a lot of, this is really great storage right here. This is where all the food and snacks could go. Nice deep cabinet space. This is gonna be 24 by 14 and 28 inches tall of storage for all those snacks. So that thing does go back pretty far. And then right above your furnace, you got yourself even more storage with that nice green color. 24 by 14 and 24 inches tall. So the bottom one is a little smaller, but still really good storage. Moving on to the bunks. As you can see, they do give you these curtains, which is surprisingly a lot of companies do not. So you got 2 curtains, and I measured these out for you guys. And each one will have a window too, and they both open. Might not seem like a big deal, but a lot of companies do not. Both the bunks are gonna be 44 by 74. 44 by 74 for these bunks. You have USB on this one to charge your phones and stuff. Maybe the kids want to charge their tablets. And your own light that you could turn off individually. Down here on this bottom bunk, this is nice and cozy. It's not super high, or like it doesn't feel super claustrophobic. Like you do have plenty of room. It doesn't make you feel like you're in a coffin or something. So you got 27 inches from this bunk to the roof of this bunk. 27 inches of headroom in this bunk area. Same thing, you got the USB and your light right here. Nice and cozy. One thing I love that they do on these Nobos is this actually lifts up for all that extra storage, and I did measure that. When we go outside, I'll show you, and it just hooks on right there. This is fantastic storage for bikes, fishing poles, might even fit a generator. Might be a little too small, but we'll check. I got the specs for you guys. This one, the bunk, from the bunk to the roof, you're looking at 26 inches of headroom in this bunk right here. So definitely could sleep, you know, 2 kids, 2 adults. I think it could fit 2 adults. This might make it a little harder for the adults, but definitely 2 kids. So you can put 4 kids there if they want to bring their friends along. Nice big double bunks for you. Moving on to the bathroom. Wow, look at that. That's a lot of floor space considering you got double bunks, and this is only 7 feet 4 inches wide. Let me turn this off real quick so you can hear me. All right. So first thing we always do, if you're new to the channel, I encourage you to do this as well. Shut the door, sit on the toilet, make sure it's comfortable. The last thing you want to do is buy a trailer and the commode not be comfortable. So as you can see, not bad at all. Look at that. You got a squatty potty. I'm just kidding. But from the toilet to this is going to be 17 inches of knee room. So not bad right there. Turn you around so you can see how much shoulder room I got. Not bad. I'm not the biggest dude, but check it out. Got some wiping room. So there's your toilet. I think most people would be pretty comfortable in this. Like I said, it's always a compromise with bunk beds. You know, usually you'll get a smaller bathroom, maybe a little less counter space, but that is the price you pay when you have to have guests. Pretty decent sink, wash your hands, brush your teeth, a little bit of counter space right here. And then like I said, you do have these little storage areas right there. You do have one plug right here for your hair dryer, straightener, things like that. And this does have a tankless water heater, so take as long of a shower as you want. I love that. I take really long showers. And you can pick different settings. So if you're like my girlfriend, you like lava for water, you can have your own setting, and then I could have my normal heat water. So that's a cool feature right there. Here underneath the sink, you got easy access to your plumbing. There's your plumbing right there. I know you guys like to see that. Ooh, look at all them camping decals. That's pretty sweet. Look at the cowboy. You got a cow, a cactus, lassie, more cactus, a tree, a rabbit. Ooh, snake. It's pretty cool. That's new. This is a medicine cabinet, and they always put this little string right here so it doesn't fly open. Pretty standard. You got a space for your toothbrushes and your mirror. Turn you around. I didn't even have the lights on. You do have your hooks for your towels, but a decent size shower. And I measured this for you as well. Not bad. The skylight definitely lets in a lot of light, as well as giving you a little more height, a little more headroom. I'm going to stand in it too, just to give you an idea. I am 5'7". As you can see, I'm going to be comfortable in this. And I can, you know, move around a little bit. So if you need to rinse off, scrub off. And then it does have this nice enclosure. So I like these ones a lot because they're not super flimsy like some other ones I've seen out there. But what I like about it is look how secure it is. And you're not going to have any water getting out of this. And it's all buttoned up nice. It looks like they got some caulking or whatever the heck that's called. So you do not need to worry about water falling out of the shower and then you slipping and breaking your neck. You got your wand right here. Pretty standard. It's a nice metal one too. Seems like it's at a good height as well. Talking about headroom and the size of the shower pan. Your shower pan, I measure what you can actually step in. If you look at specs, they measure it where you can't step. So I measure it the right way. The shower pan is going to be 19 by 34 for your shower pan. Your moving around space right there. And if you're tall, this is for all you tall people out there, the headroom you got from the shower pan to the skylight is going to be 6 feet 3 inches. 6 feet 3 inches of headroom. So if, like I say, if you're 6'4", you're going to be in that space dome up there. And get this, it's got the big fart fan, baby. Look at that. Look at them blades. It's kind of hard to tell, but they're massive blades. It's not those little rinky-dink blades that do nothing. That thing has 4 speeds. That thing will definitely pull some air out, you know, help with that condensation, or if you ate some bad food. But it does have the rain cover as well. So if you accidentally leave it open and you're going down the road and it rains, you don't have to worry about water getting in to your trailer. Let's talk about some of the awesome features that this thing has before we go outside. So this will have 400 watts of solar, and a 2,000 watt inverter. So that is going to constantly keep those batteries recharged. It's pretty amazing. I've never had anyone have to add an additional solar, but just keep in mind that is not going to run your air conditioner. That's the main thing it won't run. It's not going to run your air conditioner, your toaster, things like that. And your TV is 12 volts, so you don't need to worry about that. One huge feature that this thing has, let me kind of swivel this real quick. So this is just a portion of your control panel right here. So you got your water heater, water pump, just flip the switch. You don't have to light it or anything like that. You have your readings for your fresh, black, gray, and your battery power. But this feature right here, you got heated holding tanks. So I'm a huge fan of heated holding tanks versus just the heated underbelly. And the reason is because if you're out fishing or hunting or maybe just out on the town and you're in a cold state, do you really want to keep your heater running all day while you're not in the trailer? Or would you rather just flip these on and then there's the 12 volt pads heating those tanks so you don't freeze? And then when you get home, you could kick that heater on so that way you're not wasting propane. Makes a lot of sense, right? So you got 12 volt heat pads with 400 watts of solar, so that's going to just constantly keep this baby, you know, if you're boondocking, you could stay out for as long as you want, as long as you have water. I love this feature right here. And it's still enclosed and heated, so your tanks are not exposed. A lot of companies advertise radiant heat. Not a fan. Radiant heat, it's just like, basically there's just a hot source, and it's just radiating off of it. There's no like designated furnace blowing under there, or there's no 12 volt heat pad. So I don't really count radiant heat as a good method to, you know, heat your underbelly. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Here's your other control panel over here when you first walk in. You got Bluetooth speakers, indoor and out, as you can see, A and B. So pick the ones that you want to use. Have them both on if you want. There's one of your speakers right there. And then you got your lights, porch lights, interior lights, all right here. But see, how annoying would it be if you turn your lights on, you have to have them all on? A lot of companies do that. What if you're wanting to relax and kick back? You don't want all this blinding light on. Well, with this company, Nobo, they will allow you to turn them off individually, and I think that is something a lot of people miss when they're out looking at trailers. Ooh, I like that. Look at that nice bottle opener. Nobo. And then you got your hooks right there for your keys. This does have a 30 amp solar controller right there, so you can kind of monitor what your solar is doing with those batteries. Pretty much the inside. Let's go outside and show you some of the great stuff out there. We're going to talk about construction, which is probably one of the most important things when you buy a trailer, because they can all look nice, but they can also be built extremely cheap. If it looks cheap on the outside, imagine how cheap it is where you can't see it. That's what I always say. So we will head outside. Sorry guys, I moved a little quick over there. Don't want to get you sick. All right. Let me know in the comments where you guys are from. I'm curious how many people from New Mexico are actually watching my videos. That's cool. I have customers that have called from, you know, Georgia, West Virginia. It is just incredible. So I'll pause right here. That way you can get an idea of some of the stuff. I should be able to get everything. Ooh, I was wrong. I'm glad I looked at this. This is actually a 15,000 BTU air conditioner, not a 13.5. So that's why I like to pause here just in case I may have misspoke. It has the solid steps that just fold right into the doorway. These are fantastic because they're nice and secure to the ground. And if you're on uneven level, you can adjust each leg to whatever, you know, surface you're on. But these just fold right in the doorway right there. A lot more secure than those hanging steps. You got the nice goat. Look at the goat. Pretty cool. And it's a glass door too, but just keep in mind, it tricked me at first too. You can't see out of it, but it does have a window. Yeah, I was like, what? You can't, it's purely aesthetic. You can't see out of it. So we'll move to the front, show you some of this, and then work our way around. You got your electric tongue jack right here. You got your 20-pound propane tanks. Battery disconnect right over there. So when you're ready to shut this off, turn the batteries off, and that's where those will go right there. Look at how rugged this thing looks. Do you like the green? Leave it in the comments. I think I get more people saying they like it than they don't. Look at that nice rugged fiberglass cap. LED lights up above. Moving on over here to your pass-through storage. You got your luggage latches instead of the little twisty ones, and the magnets. Nice. Down here is your storage. Look at all that great pass-through storage. Tons of storage. So here's a nice construction aspect of this trailer. So you see all this? All aluminum framed, and it's not mixed with wood. So it's 6-side aluminum framing, meaning the roof, the floor, the front wall, the back wall, and both side walls are all aluminum. So when you go look at trailers, definitely ask the sales guy, is it 6-side aluminum framed? Because they'll still slap a sticker on it and say aluminum framing, and then it's mixed with wood. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but just know what you're paying for, know what they're selling you, because sometimes they just won't mention it because they don't know or they don't want to tell you. So 6-side aluminum framing, as you can see, nice treated wood. It's not particle board. Down here you got a light, USB and USB-C plug. Over here you do have a griddle that hooks on outside, and I'll show you where that goes. It's like a Blackstone style flat top. This storage area is 24 by 85 and 16 inches tall, and I did the tall part to the aluminum. So 24 by 85 and 16 inches tall. The doorway, because obviously the storage is big inside, but this doorway kind of constricts what you could put in. This doorway to put stuff in is 13 by 20. So 13 by 20, if there's something you want to put in there, make sure it's that size, or you might have to like angle it to get it in. Nice big awning. It has a nice floodlight right here that's like an orange color. I think it turns like a light white too. Look at those big marine grade outdoor speakers. What did I say? A 21-foot awning right here. And it does have the LED lights that go all the way across. Right here you do have where you'll hook on your griddle, and I like this a lot more than the old style. This just feels a lot more sturdy than that little, you know, the little bar that they usually put, and it's got the Forest River emblem right there. It does have your propane quick connect, as well as a hot and cold water and it comes with the sprayer, so when you're ready to clean off your griddle or anything like that, it's all right here conveniently placed. You got your plugs. And, ooh, look at that decal. Doesn't that look cool? Over here to the left, you do have storage, more added storage underneath the bunk. So this is that nice little table that goes next to the griddle. Nice metal tray. This is underneath those bunks. This is the hose that connects with the sprayer, your 30 amp plug. This storage area is going to be 15 by 54 and 15 inches tall. What are 15 by 54 and 15 inches tall? The actual space you got to put stuff in is going to be 13 by 39. So just keep that in mind if you're wanting to store something in there. 13 by 39 of entryway right there. Moving to the back. This is amazing storage. Look at this. So this is going to be good for all your chairs, fishing poles, things like that. And like I said, you can lift this. Look at that. Tons of storage. So this is going to be awesome. You got to imagine if you have 4 extra kids coming, you're going to have to bring a lot of entertainment along, and having this extra storage under the bunk is going to help a lot. This storage area is going to be 27 by 74 and 47 inches tall. Shoosh, that's almost as big as the pass-through storage. And then the doorway, if you're trying to put something in there in particular, you're going to be at 20 by 42 for this doorway to store stuff. It is prepped for the camera and the ladder. Boo, I know. I wish they just put the ladder. But the ladder you do get, it's like a telescoping ladder that hooks on, and it's more like an angle. So it's a little safer, and it's lightweight, and it collapses, it telescopes, so easy to store it. You do get a rugged tire right here. Be careful though, sometimes they will ship it with just a standard tire. They won't always match, so I'm really happy this one did come with the spare that matches all other 4 tires. So when you're out looking at trailers, just keep in mind if it comes with, it could come with a different spare tire. Over here, you don't have any slide out. So like I said, 7 feet 4 inches and no slide. Now, oh, this is your potable water right here. And then your city water. And then your black tank flush right over there. Talking about the wall construction on these things, or you know what? Let's look at the Beast Mode package. Beast Mode, probably one thing you guys are all wanting to see the most. I almost forgot about it. So as you can see, you got the big, nice off-road, all-terrain tires right there. And then you got some nice aluminum wheels. Those look fantastic. But check this out. Man, I'm getting old. I'm getting old. Look at that. Woo, boy. How sweet is that? And remember I said there's no axle. So when you're going through real rugged terrain, you know, you got big boulders in the middle of the road, you're not going to be having to worry about your axles, you know, hitting that. It is a Kurt independent suspension. They also say racing inspired, but it does have 5 inches of flex. So you got to imagine how much better is that going to tow, and how much more is that going to help the framing of the trailer. You hit a pothole, usually all that stress is going to be transferred into the frame of the trailer. Not with this. Pretty sweet. And then it's all enclosed, buttoned up nicely, like I said. And look at how high this thing sits. Look at that. A lot of extra height because of this one thing that they did on this trailer. So as you can see, it's got a dovetail. Would that be a reverse dovetail or a dovetail? So that's going to give you a lot of extra clearance. You know, on normal trailers, it's just flat. Think about when you go down a hill and then you come back up. You do not want to scrape your jacks or your plumbing. You start ripping that stuff off, it can get expensive to replace. So not only do you have high clearance, you got the Beast Mode package, and you got that dovetail to really get you where you need to go. But from top to bottom, this thing is built fantastic. Not only that, but let's talk about how this trailer is built. So the way they make these trailers, or not most trailers, is it'll go fiberglass, then it'll go Luan or Asdel, then it'll go the rigid block foam, and then the aluminum framing, and then your inner walls. Luan is just basically a thin sheet of wood that they put underneath this fiberglass. And what happens when wood gets wet? It starts to get mildew, it starts to warp, and it starts to basically what they call as delaminate. So your walls literally start to separate once water gets in there. And I'm sure you've seen them before when like older trailers are starting to bubble. That's because water has gotten in the walls and that Luan and everything is just starting to separate and get moldy. It's just not good. With Asdel, which you can keep an eye out for that sticker, Asdel is a composite material that is impervious to water. So basically it's a waterproof material that they'll put. These things sit out in all the elements year round, unless you're getting indoor storage. But you guys think when it rains, it snows, dust storms, all that stuff. And when it's exposed to that stuff, the potential of water getting in there and messing up that Luan is pretty high if you're not careful and taking care of all your joints and everything like that. So Asdel, this will have the composite outer wall, which is huge. That's going to help with any potential, you know, maybe water does get in, and it's just a nice little construction added touch that will help the longevity of this trailer. So, what do you guys think? Pretty nice. So, if you're new to the channel, I am Tyler with Tyler Talks Travel Trailers, and I'm located at Albuquerque RV in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Our phone number will be down below in the description. So if you have any questions at all, please call in and please ask for me. Or if you put in a lead on the website, just say, hey, I want to talk to the annoying dude on YouTube, and then they'll pass it on to me. The reason why I'm saying this, two reasons. One reason is we're on a rotating list. So if you don't ask for me, you could end up with someone else. Unless you just don't like me, that's cool too. But the other reason is I've been getting a lot of customers coming in, and they don't ask for me, and they tell the sales guy, where's that guy that does YouTube? And they're like, he's a sales guy. Like, they think I'm just full-time YouTube. I am not full-time YouTube. I do this on top of selling all day. You can imagine how busy it gets. I get super busy. I don't really get much out of this YouTube. I enjoy doing it, but if you could ask for me, you have no idea how much I appreciate it. Like, even if you don't buy and you just call in, it just really shows me that this hard work is paying off. Like, you have no idea. Like I said, I had a guy from Georgia call me. Obviously, we were just too far, you know, for him to buy one, but it just really boosted my morale. You know, it keeps me going, and I get excited to keep, you know, doing these videos and getting phone calls from people all over the country. So leave a comment down below where you're from, especially if you're from New Mexico. Also, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, baby. We passed 5K, and now we're on the road to 6K. And I started this YouTube channel literally a year ago, and it's blown my mind. I had no idea that it would take off this fast. And that is why I do a lot of extra stuff. My tours can get a lot longer, but I figure I'd rather give you too much information than not enough. You know how annoying it is when you go and try to look something up, and then you have to watch another 7 videos to get all the information. So that is where I'm trying to be different. I want this video to give you as much information. That's why I do measurements. That's why I do all the construction, the features. So I really do go above and beyond. So definitely hit that subscribe button, and I'd really appreciate it. So like I said, call in, ask for Tyler. I hope you guys have a good evening, a good morning, a good afternoon, whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Now it's gonna follow me. Stop, stop, stop. This technology is just ridiculous.